in the Spurling podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe. For the intelligent, black men is relevant. Why ask questions when you know the answer? So we bypass outlast channels, no gossip. We about that. Life, tune in, subscribe, hop in the broadcast, stay current. Then the Spurling podcast, vibe with it. On the couch, leaving your house so you can ride with it. Voice of black excellence with no frontin'. In the space we speak how we feel. The blizzard's coming. Gotta watch your back, even family that's amongst you. Got a slut ass auntie and a cool ass uncle. Kinda won't front you, but let you ride the whip around the block like it's stunts. Don't do a lot of bumping. When your mama call when her ex-man jumping, all you see is feet and her ex-man stomping. That's my Uncle D, that's why the Blizzard King coming. Hot girl winter, Blizzard King summer. My we's a coming, no singing and no humming, talking we shall overcome it. Got him leaking, I'm the plumber. My nigga made Zoom look cool, yeah you funny. What else Uncle D gotta prove more money? Overlook the tunes, if gotta shun him. Brotherhood over any woman, cause if she play a role then she fam, then she good. When we say brother, my sister, we mean the hood. Now homie pop the trunk, it's been reeking just like a skunk. We can serve your knowledge, your dish it just how you want. He just run his mouth and that bullshit we debunk. In a sunken place, he's sinking that drunk. He don't even drink and I tell you that drunk. My nephew told me I wanna be just like my uncle. He don't even drink and I tell you that drunk. My nephew told me I wanna be just like my uncle. Brand good, suit and tie, lawyer reppin' manhood. He don't tap dance, he overstand, he playing good. Titles don't get it, most of us getting ambushed. Mayonnaise, clam bush, buck broken, man tush. Woke up in the morning, got walk, that's on my mind. Peace can only come when you're low and order divine. I stay entwined, you keep a criminal mind. How you think I shine and stay from falling behind? He got open eyes and can't see it, he blind. You nice all the time, they tell you water is wine. Slaughter all your sons and leave your daughters behind. All she wanna do is flash that big behind. The music is the garbage they use to take you down. You used to rap intelligent, now you rapping like clowns. My prerogative, you thinking like Bobby Brown. Rest in peace to Whitney, Christina, that's underground. Wake up years later, you been around. Water up to your neck and watching you as you drown. How you scoring touchdown again and you out of bounds? All the black men getting passports out of town. Homie pop the trunk, it's been reeking just like a skunk. We can serve your knowledge, your dishes just how you want. He just run his mouth and that shit we debunk. In the sunken place, he singing that good song. He don't even drink and I tell you that the drunk. My nephew told me I wanna be just like my uncle. He don't even drink and I tell you that good drunk. Nephew told me I wanna be just like my uncle. My Uncle D, 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 favorite uncle, Uncle D, my Uncle D, my Uncle D, my Uncle D, favorite uncle, my Uncle D, my Uncle D, my favorite uncle, Blizzard King, Uncle D, Uncle D, Uncle D, Uncle D, my favorite uncle, what? Uncle D, my favorite uncle, my Uncle D. My Uncle D, yeah, Uncle D.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. Make sure y'all get your wrenches up and popping. Somebody make sure we all acknowledge the folks that keep the chat room regulated. Michael J, Mark the Freelancer, Boris Barracuda. Who else we got in here? Ben Cisco, the Emery. And shout out to you, man. It's really an honor and a privilege to get a wrench over here. I don't really give them out to everybody. And they're usually reserved for people who have either been here a long time or contribute a huge amount of money, $100 or more. I'll give them a wrench. So shout out to everybody who's in the wrench mob. You guys have been here for a minute. Also, big shout out to all of my membership. Man, I sure would like to get some more folks up in the membership popping, man. But either way, my name is Dennis Spurling. I am also known as Uncle D. I am a trial attorney. I practice complex civil litigation in multiple jurisdictions. Recently inducted into the Hall of Fame of the Southern University Law Center, one of only 4 historically Black law schools. And so that in itself was a very, very great honor, especially consider that's my alma mater, where I got my first law degree. So I just think that's pretty awesome. But for the most part, what I am here on YouTube, I am the bad guy, but I'm only the bad guy because of my client. And my client, or should I say my advocacy, is for the well-being of Black men. And I've been at it for a while now. Started off in 2010, right after my divorce, and I realized just how foul the family court system was and just how unfairly men got treated in the family court. And that led me over to, I guess what you would consider men's rights, and the fight that men had been dealing with for several decades at that time, for family rights, parental rights. Do you know that if you're a father and you're not married to the woman, and you don't even have a right to see that child, you don't automatically have a right to participate in that child's life. The woman doesn't even have to give the child your last name. Yeah. So now on the flip side, all she has to do is sign your name off on a piece of paper, and you have to pay child support, but you still don't have visitation to that child. There are men out there who are paying for children that aren't theirs, and the court knows. So, it's an injustice, and I think it's something that men who built this society should definitely take heed to. And having experienced it myself, I decided, let me get into that. So I started digging into YouTube and listening to all the movements, and this was after having been on Facebook for a while. And then I discovered a lot of websites and a lot of information. And at some point around 2020, I decided, let me go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and do this this YouTube thing, So that's what I did. And so I've been here, I guess we're going on 4 years now on YouTube, and I've made my position here. I've had some ups, I've had some downs. It's been really enjoyable. Shout out to all the subscribers, all the fans, everybody who is here. I would promise you that if it wasn't for you and the way the feedback that I received from you all, I wouldn't be here, man. So thank you guys so much. Big shout out to you all. Well, nevertheless, this has been something that's been requested. And you guys have asked me on numerous occasions to discuss this Project 2025. Somebody type Project 2025 in the chat room. Somebody type Project 2025 in the chat room. Come on, let's get it going. Project 2025 seems to just have popped up all over the internet. It seems as though it has become the latest boogeyman. It falls in the vein of Y2K. Okay. Somebody type boogeyman in the chat room. I had never heard of it up until maybe maybe 3-4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. It's not something that was on my mind. And my thing is, well, what does this have to do with black men? Again, I'm about black men winning. Okay. I'm an advocate for black men. And so Project 2025, what does this have to do with black men? Why is this something even that I should deal with? I don't just address everything. Again, like I said, I'm a men's rights activist. Why would I bother with something like this? As you guys know, as far as politics, I tell you guys to vote your interest. I don't care if you vote Republican. I don't care if you vote Democrat. I don't care if you don't vote at all. I tell you to vote your interest, and I tell you that you are free. Free men, and that's what free men do. You exercise what's in your own best interest. So, nevertheless, I start digging into Project 2025, and it is it is a whopping 900 pages long. So it took me some time to get through it. And you guys asked for it, and so I hope that you appreciate what I'm doing and taking the time out of my normal busy practice of law to talk about this this doctrine, this project, or this writing, which apparently took some time to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure you guys are tighten in there. The super chat is popping. The Cash App is popping. I want to make sure I acknowledge the people who came in first. Shout out to Dale Simlin. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And big shout out to Kenyatta Ali, my apologies, for gifting a membership to someone. Thank you so much. That is greatly appreciated. I hope we get somebody to gift somebody about 25 memberships. That's what I need. I need to get my membership up so I can, because I got all the stuff, all the vintage Uncle D, all the early Blizzard King, the Man About Town, the Passport Bro stuff. All that is behind the paywall over in membership. So if you want to get that old stuff, if you want to catch up, somebody type catch up. If somebody type catch up, not ketchup like what you put on your French fries, but if you want to catch up with where we are, you're going to say, wow, this dude was on it 4 years ago. He predicted so much of this stuff. Wow. And you got to join the membership, man. You got to go and get over there and get with that membership program. But shout out to everybody. Thank you guys so much. And I will definitely read the super chats a little later on. But I'll give a big shout out to Terrell. Thank you so much, fam. Appreciate you being the first one up with the super chat. And apparently I got a few ladies who are here. Shout out to the ladies. I don't know why y'all show up over here unless y'all realize after all these years that old Uncle D was right. And I'm the only one that's being straightforward with you and honest with you. So shout out to all the ladies. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, this is Dennis Spurling. And today we're going to dive into something that's going to spark a lot of conversations during this election season. We're talking about Project 25. Somebody type Project 25 in the chat room. This is an initiative by the Heritage Foundation. And the aim of this doctrine or this project is to shift American governance towards a more conservative and moral position. In other words, we're returning to the old school. That's basically it. If I had to say it, This document is almost 1,000 pages long. It's a 920-page manifesto. It's a mandate for leadership, and it's what they would categorize as a conservative promise. And it's divided into 4 pillars: policy, personal training, and playbook. What it's doing is providing a guide for future conservative administrations. The Heritage Foundation, you guys have probably heard that before. They had some previous work, and it influenced the Reagan administration. And this document outlines some of these key proposals, and some of the stuff that has got everybody scared, or not everybody, but certain people scared, is the complete ban on baby deletions nationwide. And this is no exceptions, okay? And basically they're saying they're arguing for the sanctity of life. And they're basing it on moral considerations based on Christian and religious values. It also suggests dismantling the Department of Education and shifting its responsibilities to the states and local governments, and so that they can tailor their educational programs. They want to remove federal funding from schools and mandate that mandate vaccinations and masks. And they say that the reason, the purpose behind that is for personal freedoms and parental rights. At this time, those seem to be waning away. And another thing they're trying to do is abolish the Head Start program. Okay. The Head Start program costs about $10,000 per child, and annually it's about $9 billion. And they say we want to do away with that. The other thing is they would prefer to have local and state governments manage early childhood education. And they think they can do that more effectively. So there's a lot to talk about. This Project 25, it represents a significant shift in American policy governance and is deeply rooted in what folks would consider conservative values. To me, it's just old school values. That's what it is. Some people like the old school, some didn't. I think we need a little bit more old school left. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, you guys asked for this, and I'm going to guarantee you this is going to be long and boring. Okay. I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible, but this is going to be like when somebody comes to visit your school and, they're just long-winded. It is what it is. So let's go ahead and say this. Basically, Project 2025. Y'all with me? First of all, y'all need to go ahead and get with. Maybe I need to change the music up a little bit. Let's change the music up a little bit and get this new music popping. Okay. Get a little bit more upbeat. All right. Okay. Come on now. Talk to me now. Where we at? Hit the number 1 button if you're still here. We could talk about the latest viral video, but you guys asked for this, so I want to go ahead and get this popping, man. Y'all make sure y'all check in. And if you find it, and look, if you're a Republican, type Republican in the chat room. If you're a Democrat, type Democrat in the chat room. I'm interested in hearing what you all have to say. If you're a conservative, if you don't have a party affiliation, that's cool too. Again, I'm an advocate for Black men. Everybody's welcome. All men are welcome. Everybody's welcome to listen. But for the most part, that's going to be my perspective. Shout out to my man, James Harper. Okay, so Project 2025, as I said earlier, it's an initiative by the Heritage Foundation. And the Heritage Foundation is a think tank. A think tank is basically just a body of people who put their resources together to try to figure out how they can direct the country in the way in which they seem or think is best. And they've been around since 1973, so that puts them at over half a century old. The Heritage Foundation wants to move America towards a more Christian nationalist state. They've been working with governments for a while now. They had something called a mandate for leadership back in 1981, and that kind of worked its way into Reagan's administration, and 60% of their 2000 proposals were implemented. Okay. Again, this is a 920-page document. We're not going to sit here and read all 920 pages, but I have gone over it. And so let's go ahead and talk about some of the main points. Now, instead of saying the A word, I'm going to refer to it as baby deletions. Okay. And for those of you guys who know, we have a big problem with baby deletions in the Black community. And this Project 2025, what it does is it imposes a complete ban on baby deletions. Now, when you look at these baby deletion clinics, Planned Parenthood, you notice where they're placed and where they're located. Oftentimes in Black and brown communities, poor communities. Margaret Sanger, who was the founder of this particular organization, she was not a friend to people of color. In fact, she was not a friend to Black people. She was a eugenicist. And she basically believed that, if she could, she would try to eliminate Black folks. And after Roe v. Wade was passed in 1971, moving forward, for the past 50 years, over 20 million Black babies have been deleted before they were born. And so what does that tell you? Well, what it tells me is that this whole law around baby deletions has not been good for Black people. What that also tells you is there's at least a missing 20 million Black people. With a population of 45 million, imagine if beginning 50 years ago, a little over 50 years ago, we had 20 more million people. What would that have done for us, population wise? Huh? Ask yourself that. That's how many missing people we have in this country right now. In New York City, they have more babies who are deleted than are born. So as a Black man, right, how does the absolute prohibition against baby deletion across America, how does that really affect me as a Black man in a negative way? Not particularly me, but you may have daughters. Now, I'm going to get controversial, and I want you guys to hear me clearly. This particular project does not make exceptions for grape juice. Okay? Take the G off and remove the juice, and you'll see what I'm saying. It doesn't make an exception for in and well, we'll say family pregnancies. Okay? It doesn't. Right? And it doesn't make an exception for the health of the mother. Now, what I want you all to understand is that's very serious, but I also think that they're taking into account the actual number of grape juices that occur. And they also aim to protect the unborn life of the child at all costs. And so that's why they want to make it illegal. They're placing the life of a child over and above a criminal activity that occurred or a horrible atrocity. They're basically saying that they have these core beliefs. And look, it doesn't matter to me whether or not you agree with them or not, okay? This is not what we're about, okay? I'm just here to explain to you. Somebody said, yeah, you're right. Roe v. Wade happened in 1973, not 1971. I had 1971 on my mind, so you're correct. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So 1973, but almost 50 years. But the bottom line is this. What is their rationale for justifying that? Okay? They're placing the sanctity of human life, and they're saying that they have a fundamental belief that life begins at conception. Somebody type conception in the chat room. And that is central to their justification. Now, for you all who don't believe that life begins at conception, let me give you a scenario. Oftentimes, when women get pregnant, and let's say they are the victim of some sort of assault, and for you guys who are familiar with pretty much any criminal penal code, what happens if you assault a woman who is pregnant and she loses that baby as a result of that assault? Does the district attorney just prosecute for simple assault, or do they prosecute you for feticide? The latter. They prosecute you for feticide or feticide, which means that the law already acknowledges that unborn child is a life. Okay? And heaven forbid if you unalive the mother and the unborn child expires also. Then you're looking at a double murder. Okay? A double unalivement, if we will. And so again, the law already acknowledges that these unborn children are life, is a human life. And so we treat it accordingly. So the fiction that we would then allow women to go and undergo this medical procedure and claim that the life hasn't begun yet, that's not even something that is accepted in other realms of the law. And you don't make law in a vacuum. So that's it. Now, you know what? Actually, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I want you to listen to this pretty young lady here. She is apparently a Yale law student, much prettier than I, but this is the typical talking point. I want you to hear what she has to say related to this. Somebody type, "I'm scared" in the chat room.
Where did it come from? The entire far-right blueprint is 920 pages and 30 chapters. You're not going to read all that. I don't expect you to. And if you haven't even heard of Project 2025, that's okay too. But you do need to know what's in it because it's pretty terrifying. Think of...
She's terrified. Okay? Now you heard what I just said. You won't be able to unalive your unborn children. Okay? Let's keep... And then you have to add, and for those of you guys who say, well, you know, to force a mom to have a child when she's impregnated by a family member, I get that. But nevertheless, if we acknowledge what it is, and that is still, if it's a unalivement, if the mom gets assaulted and passes away, then why isn't it an unalivement? Since when do we have the right to unalive somebody because of the circumstances by which they arrived in their mother's womb? You see, that's two wrongs don't make a right is basically what this is saying. All right, now let's listen to this young lady here.
A playbook for Handmaid's Tale, essentially turning the US into Gilead. I've looked for some good, easy explanations of Project 2025, and there really aren't that many. This is going to be the most comprehensive and simple explanation of 2025 that you're going to get. So background, Project 2025 dates back to 1973. That's when the Heritage Foundation, a very powerful conservative think tank based in Washington, D.C., was founded. They are the writers and the architects of Project 2025. And their main mission and goal...
Now, it's not just the Heritage Foundation. There's about 20 or so other groups that help participate in it. Yeah, maybe conservative, but this is something that is known throughout Washington. Shout out to Trayvon Jones. This is something that's known throughout Washington's conservative community. So this is not a unknown quantity, project. Let's keep listening.
Is to move America to a more far-right Christian nationalist state.
It's to move America further from the left. See, what's happened is we've moved so far left that anything headed back towards the middle is far right. But the truth is, unalivements, baby deletions, and many of this other stuff was in place right back in 2008 before Barack Obama became president. Remember, that's when everything got shifty. So let's keep listening to this young lady.
They originally came to prominence when they wrote their first manifesto in 1981 titled A Mandate for Leadership. And get this, those very same policies were the ones that were used and implemented in the Reagan administration. Seriously, around 60% of the 2,000 proposals written in the manifesto were implemented by Reagan. So now they're back again with a new edition, and this new edition is known as Project 2025. And it's supposed to provide guidance for the Don or whoever becomes the next Republican president. And these 900 pages and 30 chapters were written by professors, doctors.
It's not just guidance for Donald Trump. It is basically a playbook for all young conservatives who want to bring, and again, I'm not a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm actually registered as a Democrat, but I wanted to correct that. This is not something that if it doesn't work in the next 4 years or whatever, no, this is something that they're going to work at over the next 20 or 30 years. We're moving back towards more conservative values. That's basically what's happened. And it's reflective of the young people like yourselves. Okay. So let's keep listening to her. It's reflective of the direction you're headed at. Let's keep listening.
Scientists, lawyers, scholars on each subject. And they've divided Project 2025 into 4 main pillars. The first is policy, which is this big book. The second is personnel. They're creating this huge conservative database, think LinkedIn, but for DJT loyalists. The third pillar is training. They set up this online educational system called the Presidential Administration Academy.
Now, I just want you to acknowledge this young lady. She's apparently, what she says, she represents herself as a Yale Law School graduate. And, people will listen to her. Somebody type halo effect in the chat room. Somebody type halo effect in the chat room. The halo effect means that you are more inclined to listen to someone who you find physically appealing, pretty or handsome, than you will someone who you find ugly. That's why you imbue upon those teachers that you think are attractive more intelligence, okay? And so people are listening to her, and you're also bringing in her emotions associated with that. And I want you black men just to understand what's being conveyed to you. They're trying to make you afraid. Afraid to what? Afraid to stop baby deletions, which is unalive 20 million black people in the past since 1973. Why is that a bad thing? I mean, we have dealt with a Holocaust over the past 49 years as far as baby deletions. Why would this be a bad thing? I want you to think about that. We'll keep listening to this young lady.
Where they teach their views and ideology in a course. And the fourth is called Playbook, which is an action game designed for how they're going to get everything done. Now let's get into some of the very concerning things on their wish list for DJT's second term. Starting off strong on pages 450.
Again, she's misrepresenting. She's saying this is about Donald J. Trump. It's not about him. Donald Trump is going to be, what is he going to be, 83 years old, right? He'll be if he's elected, and he is not supported by a Republican Senate and a Republican House, then he's going to be a lame duck after 2 years, okay? But the bottom line is this is a playbook for conservatives for the next 20 or 30 years. Keep that in mind, okay? So that's a little bit of misinformation there.
50 to 503. They're calling for a complete ban on abortions. Not very shocking.
We talked about
Page
that.
319, they're saying,
I want you to also keep in mind that the American birth rate, generally speaking, is at an all-time low. We are not at, at least white Americans are not at a birth rate, a replacement level birth rate. And so, people are having a lot less children. So by banning the unaliving of babies, it's going to increase the birth rate. Since we have done it here in Texas, we've had 25,000 more new births. So it works, okay? And, the government is tired of women using unalivements at clinics as a means of birth control. So you don't want to have a child, then the best bet is to be a lot more responsible with your activity in the bedroom.
The Department of Education should be eliminated. And in addition,
so I'll get to that in a minute. But for the most part, as far as baby deletions, there's a sanctity of life. We have to take the moral and ethical considerations into that you know, we also want to protect the vulnerable population. This is the reasoning behind it. Okay, they want to be consistent in their pro-life stance, which means by advocating for no exceptions. Project 2025 seeks to maintain a consistent pro-life position, and any allowance of abortion, even in cases of grape juice and we'll call it family pregnancies or even health risk, right? They're seen as compromises, and and that weaken the overall argument against baby deletions. Now, again, this is a wish list. In order for this stuff to be put into place, it has to be passed into law. So in any negotiations, you start high, they start low, and you work your way in the middle. But at this point, we are just too far left in the United States culture that we have to have something that would be considered far right, just so we can meet in the middle and get back to where we were. There's some other things that you should consider. Many of these ladies who undergo these baby deletions, oftentimes they can't have children after that. When they get the walls of their uterus scraped out, there's scar tissue that arises. And so that invariably, when they do want to have children, it prevents them from doing so, or prevents them from having a normal childbirth, because they've had so much damage to their uterus from, in many cases, numerous baby deletions. The other thing is this. There's a psychological effect associated with having that unborn fetus forcibly detached from you that women don't tell you about. You know, women got this child developing in you. There not only is a physical changes, but also psychological changes. And the idea that now that you've undergone this baby deletion and the process, you know, and I don't want to dig too deep into that, but they basically stick a suction cup inside a woman's uterus, and and some clamps and scissors, and they cut and suck and cut and suck. And this is what you're doing. And oftentimes when women find out about that, it has some long-term psychological effects on them. And so this is something else that they want to address, okay? Because this has not helped us, all right? As a country, as a people. And again, I focus mostly on Black men, but this is an American issue that we should be dealing with, okay? I think we all can agree, those of us who consider ourselves moral, that this is not something that is good for us as human beings. Those of us especially who consider ourselves Christian or Baptist, and I'm Christian. I'm a Southern Baptist, born Southern Baptist, and I'm gonna die Southern Baptist. And you and I all know that this is not right, period. It's never been right, okay? What we want to do is we want to understand the reasons behind why these policies are. Because see, that doesn't sound, when you say far right, I'm thinking Klan hats and skinheads, okay? Saving babies is not far right. Saving babies is just morality to me. I don't want y'all to consider that. Okay, so let's listen to this young lady and let her guide us through. She basically said that they're trying to eliminate the Department of Education. And y'all, if y'all with me, man, hit the #1 button.
Education should be eliminated. And in addition to calling for its elimination, they state that any school that requires a vaccine or mask mandate will not receive federal funding.
All right, so let's talk about that. All right, so Project 2025, and you guys asked for this. If you're bored, it's not my fault. All right, this is what you want. You want a comprehensive understanding. I'm trying to roll through this as fast as I can. But what will eliminating the Department of Education do? I mean, this proposal suggests dismantling the Department of Education and transferring the responsibilities to state and local governments. Okay? And the reason they want to do that is because there's a belief that the education should be managed closer to the community level, allowing for more localized control and reducing federal oversight. Where's the problem with that? Because, see, what I don't want is when your governor, Gavin Newsom, becomes your next president or the one after this. I don't want him bringing all those people from California and installing them in the Department of Education and them coming down with a policy saying that schools who are willing to tell the parents that their children who may be born one gender want to dress like the gender of another, parents can't get involved. Okay? I don't want that. You see, I don't want some federal bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. coming down to Texas or Louisiana or Mississippi or Alabama or Nevada or Chicago and telling me what the local school in my neighborhood that my taxes pay for should be teaching my kids. In our community, here in Texas, we have a cowboy culture. We have a horse culture. We have an outdoors culture. I don't want some bureaucrat from New York City telling me what we should be learning or how we should be conducting ourselves. I don't want that to happen. So in eliminating the Department of Education and its dictating what is and shouldn't be in our local school, we want to designate the local governments for that. It should be, I think it would be a good idea. Who knows better what the children in your community, let's say you live in Appalachia, you know better what they need than the folks up in Connecticut. That'll allow them to get some local control. It allows them to tailor the education programs that reflects the preferences and the priorities of parents who are the local stakeholders. Why do you have all these college programs for kids down on the border in Brownsville who barely speak English, who more likely than not would benefit from programs that teach them how to be blue-collar workers, electricians, truck drivers, mechanics, as opposed to having them reading Shakespeare when they can barely speak English? Same thing goes for kids who are growing up in Watts, California. Teach them something that they can actually put right to use so they can begin working their way out of poverty. See, they want to reduce the federal oversight. Because see, at this point, what we're dealing with is a one-size-fits-all sort of situation, where some people in Washington, D.C. saying that the kids in Montana need the same curriculum that the kids in South Florida are using. Why are we teaching Black history in Montana anyway? Are there even any Black history, any Black folks there? Why not focus that on the places where you have Black people and teach the folks in Montana Native American history? I'm just saying. And if you want to teach Black history, leave it up to the local government. See, what they're trying to say is the localities can develop a diverse educational model that better serves their population without the constraints of the federal regulations and mandates. Why are we forcing these kids to study for the SAT and take SAT prep classes when we know they're not going to college? Just think about that. It's about efficiency. It's about accountability. It's about educational freedom. It's about innovation. Hey, you know what? We need to do this here. Oh, well, you can't do that, Mrs. Smith. It's got to get approved by the federal government. No, stick to this curriculum that we have and we're teaching. That's what they're saying. See, without the federal regulations, states and localities, they can experiment with new teaching methods and curricula and school choice options. And that's going to make a more competitive environment, and it drives improvement. I don't see a problem with it. Okay? I don't see a problem with that. Because education at the end of the day is a local issue. It's a decision that should be made by the parents and teachers in that area. And it used to be. Because, see, there was, at one time, no such thing as a Department of Education. Now, how long ago do you think that was? Huh? But let me say this again. Traditionally, education was managed by the states and localities before the creation of the Department of Education. When was the Department of Education created? Again, they're returning to old school values. And they're saying that it aligns with the original model of what America was supposed to be. Somebody type 1979. Before 1979, there was no Department of Education. And we always reminisce about how much more we were taught back then. Yeah, right? When local communities had control over their schools. So just think about that. And look, whatever position you take, maybe you like the Department of Education, maybe you think it's a great thing. I don't. I think our schools have been failing for about the past, 45 years, more or less. And it seems to coincide with the bureaucrats in Washington taking over our educational system. Shout out to Jamal Smith. Thank you so much. Love the broadcast, huh? Respect and support from the DMV. Yeah. Just think about that. 1979. And so now you have a Department of Education that has basically stripped the parents of their rights. And this particular proposal, Project 2025, somebody type Project 2025 in the chat room. This is the big bad monster that we're talking about. Wouldn't you, as a Black person in a Black community, want to have control over what's being taught to your Black children? If you're a Hispanic person, wouldn't you want the schools in your community that your tax-paying dollars are paying for to be under your control and your authority? Talk about European, Asian folks. Wouldn't you want to be able to control that? It takes the power away from the federal government. Why would anybody have a problem with that? Local control is going to enhance the parents' ability to influence and participate in their children's education. Especially considering that people in California might have different values than people in Mississippi. You understand what I'm saying? People in Oregon and Washington, and I'm talking about Washington State, you might see things a little different than folks in Texas and Alabama and North Carolina and Tennessee. So let us do our thing and you do your thing. On top of that, you get to eliminate a whole department that was just conjured up out of midair under Jimmy Carter's administration. A big bureaucratic mess that slows things down and slows down educational decisions and governance. It'll help education be a little bit more agile and less burdensome and cost less. It's the reason that we don't like these, governmental entities anyway. I'm just saying, think about it. So we've talked about baby deletions and we've talked about the Department of Education. Nothing in here scares me so far. Y'all scared? Somebody type scared in the chat room. I'm still not afraid of this. I'm just saying, I'm not afraid. Let's keep listening. Hold on.
Page 482, eliminate the head.
And again, this pretty young lady right here is apparently a young lady who's graduated from Yale, and she's good looking. So we're going to listen to her. Okay, we're going to listen. She enhances my show. You understand? So that's what she said. Let's listen to her. Now she's going to talk about another position at this page. Y'all, let me know if you're bored. Let me know if you're bored. I'll try and spruce it up as best as I can, but you're looking at a middle-aged black man. There's only so much sprucing that I can do. All right, let's keep listening.
Mandate will not receive federal funding. Page 482, eliminate the head.
All right, so she just said basically that they're trying to, I'm gonna let it run back again.
Education should be eliminated. And in addition to calling for its elimination, they state that any school that requires a vaccine or mask mandate will not receive federal funding.
Okay, so removal of federal funding from schools mandating vaccines or masks. Okay, look, man. Just because they don't mandate the vaccines doesn't mean you still don't need to take your children down to the local clinic and get that free mumps shot. You understand? You want a measles shot, you want the mumps shot, take your kid down to the free clinic. If you got your own medical providers, you can do that yourself. That doesn't stop you from getting your kids shots. Okay? What they're basically saying is this young lady is trying to make you afraid and say, hey, they're not going to mandate children wear masks and get shots. Because at this time, schools require kids to get vaccinated. You remember the whole mask thing that we were dealing with a couple of years ago? Seems like such a long time ago, right? But they would lose their funding if they made you do that again. And did the mask really work? Let's just think about that. Did the mask really work? Think about it. Did they? You still breathing the same air underneath the mask. I think the studies I don't know if they're up in the air about whether or not they're working. It's just a big waste of time to me. And the whole point behind that is that forcing parents to do that infringes on their rights, their personal rights and their freedoms as a parent. In other words, you can't tell me how to raise my kids. Some of you all don't even want, and I just want to appeal to the parents and the people with common sense. Many of you all don't even like people telling your children what to do. But you will run down to the clinic and force your children to take shots and you don't even know what's in it. Against your will and against the kid crying, you got to hold your kid down. He's strong. Hold him down. Hold him. Stay still, Leroy. Stay still. Leroy Jr. want to get up out that seat. He's 4.5. He's all ready to go to kindergarten. You done lied to him and told him, come on, we're going to get some ice cream. You didn't tell him he was going to have to get that inch-long needle in his arm. And so he mad at you. Traumatic. Somebody type traumatic in the chat room. But they said if you don't want to do it, fine. You don't have to do it. And they're basically saying this is based on the fact that we feel like forcing you to get your kids shots and wear masks, or otherwise they can't go to school and your butt can't go to work because you be watching kids all day. It infringes on your rights as a parent, as an individual. I would say that's true. They want you as a parent to have autonomy over your kids. I don't have a problem with that. Because right now, in some places, they'll take your kids from you for little or no reason. Again, this promotes local control. It promotes parental rights. It stops the government from overreaching, and it cuts down on the on all this unnecessary bureaucracy. We need to take some of these laws off the book. It's too many laws. It's too much money being paid to taxes for all this bureaucratic mess that we're paying for. They just slow things down. So I'm still not afraid. Somebody type, are you scared in the chat room? Are you scared? I'm not afraid. They keep saying Project 2025. Okay, well, I'm not afraid yet. So you basically saying you're going to ban baby deletions. And we know that baby deletions have caused for 20 million black people not to be here. You're going to get rid of the Department of Education and give the authority to how they want to teach their kids back to the parents and back to the states and the locality. That doesn't bother me. If you, as far as you're going to take the funding away from schools that make you have your kids vaccinated and wear masks. Okay, I mean, we're not wearing masks anymore, but the vaccinations are mandatory. Okay, well, you know what? I can still go get my kids vaccinated, but they're not going to make you do it. So it gives you your parental rights back. I'm not afraid of that. I'm going to do what's in the best interest of my children. Okay? But it doesn't really sound like something I should be afraid of yet. I'm just saying, I'm not afraid of what I've heard so far. Let's listen to this young lady from Yale Law School.
Know what's in it because it's pretty terrifying. Think a playbook for Handmaid's Tale.
Okay, we're going to skip ahead of that part. Let's go back to what we read.
And I quote, have become one of the main drivers of climate change alarm industry.
Let me slide back. Are y'all with me? Let me know if you're with me. If I need to take a break,
vaccine or mask mandate will not receive federal funding.
Okay,
Page 42, eliminate the Head Start program.
Let's listen to that. Part of it, eliminate the Head Start. Somebody type Head Start.
Federal funding. Page 482, eliminate the Head Start program. Page 675, calling.
All right, somebody type Head Start program in the chat room. When we think of Head Start, like, oh yeah, that was that program that helped kids, you know, who are, you know, what do they call at risk? Somebody type at risk. Isn't that language that these school teachers and administrators at risk? This helps at risk kids. Why would they want to do that? They must be horrible people. Horrible people. Somebody type horrible people in the chat room. How they're heartless animals. How dare they? Right? How many of you all were in Head Start? That's what I want to know. How many of you all were in Head Start? How many? Tell me how many of you all were in Head Start. Was anybody in there in Head Start? I wasn't in Head Start. Wasn't me. Do you guys know how Head Start started? You all know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You probably don't even know who that name. You young people don't even know who that is, do you? You guys know who the Black Panther Party for self-defense is? You know who that is? Well, anyway, in Oakland, they started a nutrition program where they would feed the little kids in the morning back in the 1960s. And they would feed the kids because when they feed the kids, they could talk to the kids, you see? And the reason I mentioned the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because all of that Black Power stuff originated with the Nation of Islam and all the people were in those meetings. You understand what I'm saying? Huey P. Newton, they all were influenced by the Nation of Islam. And the Nation of Islam said things like do for self, take care of yourself, take care of your own. And, you know, I know we got some brothers up in here and some sisters. And if you haven't been influenced by the Nation of Islam and you don't know it, you probably have. You just don't know it. That I'm Black and I'm proud. That is something that came about because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his ministers would go out and help break that psychological bond that white folks or Black folks had about white folks and how they look. We love white people. We just love white people. And then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came along with his, brilliant. It's probably one of the most brilliant psychologists, even though he wasn't a psychologist. The man didn't get past elementary school. Just a brilliant man, but he figured out we have got to break this hole that this white imagery has on black people. And once they began to do that, then, lo and behold, we can start taking care of ourselves. We don't have to wait for this white superhero to come save us. So they, and the brothers in the Black Panther Party picked that up and they start doing these food programs. And so at some point, there was some folks who said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And they took that and took it to the government, right? And they came up with a lot of other different programs, okay? And it got processed, right? And it got governmentalized or whatever you want to call it. But the problem is, okay, and the thing, the Head Start program, it provides early childhood education and health and nutrition, these type of services to low-income children and families, okay? And you guys, the idea that they would abolish that, oh my God, that hurts you. And 63% of black men have reached the middle class. So this is not 1965 when more of us were living below the poverty line. Right now, only 17% of black people live below the poverty line. And a lot of that is old people, okay? Elderly people and children. And some of that is some of our homeless brothers have been in and out of the penitentiary and drug addicts and stuff like that. And I'm not vilifying the poor. I'm just saying you got to look into that number. But the bottom line is you got 83% of black people who live above the poverty line, which means they're not poor, okay? Now, what's the rationale behind getting rid of this Head Start program, right? Because just to get rid of it just sounds horrible, doesn't it, right? Because it's not really effective. It's not really the most effective use of resources. And these sort resources should be handled on a state and local level or by private entities. So here we go back again. Basically, the reason that the government and these people, especially the Democrats, do not like Project 25 is because it's suggesting to strip the power away from the federal government, that totalitarian parental federal government, and giving it back to the states. Now, what's the justification for getting rid of Head Start? Well, what the critics say is that Head Start program has consistently demonstrated, has not consistently demonstrated any significant long-term benefits for the children. And many of the evaluations show that it's just mixed results regarding the program's impact. If Head Start was working well, we'd have 10,000 Rhodes Scholars coming up out the ghetto, right? And when you consider the fact of how much money we spend on this, see, the Head Start program that provides services to children ages from birth to 5 to any eligible parent, it does it free of charge. But in 2017, the Head Start served 900,000 children. And it costs $10,000 per child. Think about that. A year in 2017. That's $9 billion. And so by 2028, it's expected to be $12 billion a year. $12 billion. $12 billion of your tax-paying dollars going to a program that has kind of wishy-washy results. So they're looking at that and saying, look, the local government can do a better job at that. All you're doing is feeding some food to them and giving these teachers extra money because they're not teaching. That's basically what's being said. Let the local government deal with it. Let these people keep their tax money and let these folks feed their own kids on the local level. In fact, let the local government tailor a program that's specific to the needs of the community. It'll give them greater flexibility and it allowed them to respond to the issues. Another thing is by abolishing the Head Start program, that policy encourages private entities and nonprofit organizations to step in and provide early childhood education and services. The same thing the Black Panther Party was doing before the government came in, took it in, and messed it up. Now, they may not like the idea of the Black Panther Party doing it, but I'm sure there's some nice folks in your neighborhood with nonprofits who would like to be able to help those children in your community. More importantly, we have found that private sectors can deliver these services far more effectively and be more innovative than the federal government. I've seen situations where they teaching kids math by teaching them how to rap. A 1, a 2, that equals 3, a 4, a 5, that equals 9. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is saying. They're trying to get rid of the bureaucratic, the bureaucracy, reduce the. I mean, you know, this is their basic. This is what they're doing. It's about fiscal responsibility. It's about encouraging innovation. And again, it increases parental choice and involvement in early childhood. All these decisions about education need to be made on the local level. That's what they're saying. Early childhood education, it needs to be community-based. Leave these kids alone. That's basically what it's saying. All right. So you see, it's about kids and it's about education, giving the power back to the local government, because you can go talk to your councilman. You might not ever meet a president, but your councilman and your mayor, they have to answer to you. So why not put your county judges and county, they have to answer to you. So let your money stay in the community instead of you spending your tax dollars and sending it to the federal government and them distributing it to wherever they want to distribute it to. Giving you the power back. I'm still not afraid. I know I'm supposed to be afraid of this Project 2025, but I'm just not afraid, especially when I consider it's a wish list and they still have to go through the bureaucracy of having laws enacted. I'm not afraid. Are you afraid? Are you afraid yet? I'm not afraid. And again, I am a registered Democrat, but I'm also a father, and I'm also a taxpayer, and I'm also a parent. So some of this makes a lot of sense to me. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Y'all hit the number 1 button. Show your love.
Right podcast, click your mouse pad. Yeah, we out back. Hit the like, hit subscribe. Don't just hate watch, cause we outside. Let them hate watch, go and play pop. We just lay back. He don't play that. We don't play back. We don't play back. We go way back. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast bumping. Likes up, hit the sub button. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast bumping. Likes up, hit the sub button. This is Dennis Spurling Podcast. Don't just hate watch, hit subscribe and let them know we outside. Don't hold hate, donate. Super chat, cash app. Put something in the collection plate. Church.
I want y'all to make sure y'all hit the number 1 button. And we're going to kind of get back to what we like to do over here, man. I need y'all to check in at a certain point when it's time to check in. I need to checking in to start happening again. We got to go ahead and get this algorithm pumping. Yeah. Welcome back. All right. Y'all, look, let me tell you something, man. You all asked for this boring show. You wanted to talk about Project 2025. I'm giving it to you. I'm laying it out there for you to see. This is what you asked for. Just because I'm not saying exciting things doesn't mean this is important. Show your appreciation by paying me for my time. That's what I need you to do. Because I could be over here with this fine woman that just passed me this water with this straw in it, baby. I can't be in here sipping water through a straw, okay? Okay, I can't. I'm talking to you over there. See, don't come over here with that. I need to be. I can't be out here sipping water through a jelly jar, baby. Come on now. That's right. Anyway, praise God. Shout out to the beautiful wife over there. Look at this. See that? She about ice in my jelly jar. My grandma would love you. Praise God. Hallelujah. But anyway, show your appreciation for what I'm doing, man, by continuing. Don't just have me out here giving full-blown legal lectures better than you're gonna see anywhere else, and y'all ain't kicking in. Praise God. So we're gonna talk to the people who kicked in. Big shout out to my man Jamal Smith. Says love the broadcast, respect and support from the DMV. That's right, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all got some terrible roads up there. I'm telling you, y'all got some terrible roads in the DMV. I just want you to know that. Anyway, shout out to Trevon Jones. Thank you so much, man, for the $5. I appreciate you, brother. Big shout out to James Harper. Thank you so much for the $9.99. And again, Kenyatta Ali. Thank you so much, fam. And of course, Mr. Simlin. Good looking out, man. I appreciate that. We also got my man Cody Marshall. Big sell out. So we got about 6 super chats. I guess I'm almost rich for the night. Praise God. We can get to 20. That'll be plenty. Bars. Anyway, big shout out to everybody who contributed to my Cash App over here. It's hard talking about this stuff, man. This is complicated. You got to process this on the fly. Who else we got up here? Thank you, Mark the Freelancer. Thank you, Terrell. Thank you, Larry Sheldon. I appreciate you guys, man. Y'all make sure you subscribe to the channel. I think I need what I think I need 25 people to get to 70,000, and we've been fooling around with this for how long? Let me see where I'm at. Let me just see. Let's see if we can get to give me a minute. Just bear with me. Okay. I want to see where I am on my subscriber count. 69,974. I need somebody to subscribe to my channel. I need like 25 subscribers to get to 70,000, man. That's what I need. If you haven't subscribed by now, you just over there hate watching. Somebody type hate watching in the chat room. You need to do better. You need to be ashamed of yourself up here soaking up all this free information that I'm giving out, man. Y'all got to do better, man. But anyway, yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Big shout out to, again, Simeon Toko. Thank you so much. Keep the flow going. I shall, my brother. I shall. King Fred, what's happening? Thanks for the information, Uncle D. Yeah, you got it, baby. You got it. Big Easy, 1980, sending love and respect from Vegas. And I was supposed to go out to Vegas, man, for a jiu-jitsu tournament. They trying to get my big ass out there to do some jiu-jitsu. I'm like, man, I just like to do it. You know what I mean? But they want me to go to this tournament. They said, but you're really good. That white people get real turned up when you big and black. I'm like, yeah, but I'm 50 now, man. I'm not 15. Go get one of my sons out there. Well, they're not built like you, Dennis. I know. I'm an old school big black man. You know what I'm saying? They like little Ferraris, and I'm like an F-150. You see what I'm saying? But they want to. I'm like, y'all ain't about to get me out there. I am not about to play that game with you folks. They trying to get my big ass out there to do some competitions on a high level. I'm like, man, I'm good. But I do like the term. They call it the masters. They say, we want you to be the master. I'm like, I think my ancestors would appreciate that. I might do it for the ancestors. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about it. But anyway, let's get back to the broadcast, what we're talking about today. Big shout out to everybody who's came through and contributed to the super chat. So where are we? Okay. We are talking about Project 2025. And so far, I haven't seen anything that I'm afraid of. They're not actually asking me to do anything. They're basically saying that if you want to have a baby deletion, then you're probably not going to be able to do that. But when I look at it from the perspective of being a black man and the 20 million black children that have been deleted since 1973 when Roe v. Wade came into law, I don't think that's been a good idea. That hasn't been good for us as black people. Then when I look at the Department of Education, and I'm just going to ask you, has the Department of Education or the educational systems in schools in the black communities, have they done better for us since 1979? Or were we doing better when we had control, when the black educated people in our community had control of our schools? Why not? And I'm just coming from the perspective of a black man. I would much rather the black folks in my community who are doctors and lawyers and teachers and school teachers and professors have control of the local school than some bureaucrats up in DC who've never been to my community. I'm not afraid. And as far as the mask mandates and the shots that you have to take your kid, if you want to take them, fine. If you don't want to take them, fine. Get a freedom to the parent. This is not really making me afraid. I'm just saying, I'm not afraid. You know, in some of these places, they'll put you in jail if you don't get your kids a shot. They call it child neglect. That's just another reason to put you in jail. This is what this Project 25 thing is proposing. I'm not afraid. I'm just saying, is anybody afraid? I'm just saying, I know it's 920 pages, but when you look at it, doesn't really make me afraid. Now, here's some stuff we just gonna go out there with it. They want to abolish the NOAA, okay? Not the NAACP, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Now, listen to me. I know you brothers probably don't care about that. What the hell is that? Then I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not an environmentalist. I know you don't care about it. They want to eliminate the NOAA. This has nothing to do with New Orleans. Shout out to everybody, all my people down in that booth. Shout out to it also wants to eliminate or dismantle the National Weather Service. And you're like, why would they want to dismantle that? Well, don't they tell the weather? It's not a news station, okay? Basically what this document is arguing, and I'm gonna let the pretty little girl tell us. Go ahead, tell us, baby.
For the elimination of NOAA and the National Weather Service.
Because these organizations, and I quote, have become one of the main drivers of climate change alarm industry, and as such is harmful to the future U.S. prosperity.
Page 1.
All right, so you heard her say this is a big deal to somebody. To you black folks, this is probably not a big deal. Some of y'all are hoping for global warming because that's when you're gonna have your melanin popping. Somebody type melanin popping in the chat room. You are not afraid of it getting a little hotter. Matter of fact, you feel as though if it gets a little hotter, it'll be better for you. You understand what I mean? Make everybody else stay inside and you can be outside enjoying it. So this is not really a problem to you, but here's what I want you to understand, because you need to understand this. This document, this Project 25, it argues that these agencies contribute to what they call climate change alarm or a climate change alarm industry, and their functions could be taken over by a private sector. In other words, they're saying this Project 25 saying is we want to dismantle this because all this does is try to make you afraid and try to drive you. Every time it gets 2 or 3 degrees hotter than it was last year, it's the hottest summer ever, the hottest day ever recorded. It's the coldest, and then next thing you know, we get the coldest winter, and then a hurricane comes, and it's a drought here, and then they get a hurricane. Looks like weather to me. And yeah, I get it. Maybe there is something to it, and I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but we expect the climate to change. See, the problem is they're saying these particular organizations are being used as tools, okay? And these agencies and their research and their data, they use it to promote policies and regulations that allegedly support climate change. But here's the thing. It hurts you in the pocket. It's economically harmful. And on top of that, other scientists dispute what these folks at the NOAA and the NWS say. So it's not actually firm science. It is not 100% assured. They're saying that these folks at the NOAA are biased and they exaggerate claims about the climate. That's what they're saying. Let me lay this down for you all where you can understand it. The NOAA and the NWS say, hey, we need to come up with this policy. We need to stop drilling for all this oil in Alaska. And your gas prices go from $1.25 to $4.50. That's how it affects you. And then what? If the gas for you goes up, then the gas for the trucks goes up, and the gas for the planes goes up, and the boats go up. So to get our fuel from these different places, it costs more money. And if you need more money, that means you need to work harder. The more you work, the harder you work, the more the environment, the bigger your environmental footprint becomes. You start looking for other stuff that you wouldn't otherwise look for, especially if you're living in a less developed country. Food costs more, charcoal costs more, so I'm gonna just go over here and chop down some of these trees. I'm not gonna cut this, I'm not gonna use that natural grass. It costs too much. I can just cut down the trees. So in some respects, and not all, but in some respects, these alarmist policies are exacerbating the issue that it's saying that it's trying to fix. More importantly, they believe that the private sector can perform these functions that this particular government agency, the NOAA and the NWS, they can say we can do it even better. You can send this to some HBCU somewhere down south and let them do that research. Give them a grant. That's what they're saying. They're saying that private institutions can provide more accurate information and it won't be as biased. Because let me tell you, nobody spends your money better than the government. I remember one time I read they were paying $26,000 for a toilet. I'm talking about a regular toilet you can get at Home Depot for about $100. They're paying $26,000 in it. So they're basically saying, yeah, we understand that these organizations are necessary, but damn, number one, they're using fear to drive up the perception that they are important. And number two, the science is disputed. And number three, we're paying for it and we're overpaying for it, and private entities and local and state can do better. Let the market find a solution. As opposed to every time a new administration comes in, they go ahead and dump their shills, whether it's Republican or Democrat, and now we got a schizophrenic policy coming out of these organizations because it changes every 4 years. That's basically what they're saying. So again, I know y'all not really interested in that, but that's just something so you can know. It basically, let's cut this. It's the same thing. We're gonna cut down on the government spending and send it back to the state. So let's listen to this young lady again.
33, they call for the complete dismantling of the Department of Homeland Security. In addition, they argue for the elimination of the FBI along with the Department of Justice.
Hold on a minute. So what we're talking about is Project 25, and then she slipped this one, but she, bless her little heart. I want you to listen. Let's say this along with me.
On 33, they call for the complete dismantling of the Department of Homeland Security. In addition, they argue for the elimination of the FBI along with the Department of Justice.
You're telling me that this Project 2025 thing wants to eliminate DHS, the Homeland Security, which is something that relatively new since 2021. They want to dismantle the FBI. I don't think, look, I know some D-boys right now be happy to get rid of the FBI. I'm telling you that right now. This is what you want to get rid of? When has the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security ever been a friend to black men and black people in general?
Of the Department of Homeland Security. In addition, they argue for the elimination of the FBI along with the Department of Justice.
When has the Department of Justice, praise God, ever been a friend to black folks? Hold on a minute. Somebody type defund the police, and whether you believe it or not, that sounds a lot like defund the police. Why would the Democrats be against that? To you black folks, do you know what the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover has done to the black community and our leaders? Do you all, I mean, I know it was a CIA plan, but COINTELPRO, was that FBI? Do you know what they've done? Why would that make me afraid? What has the Department of Homeland, have you ever had the FBI show up at the Department of Justice? All the black men and women who've been put in jail on these trumped up charges, going back dozens and dozens of years, why would this make me afraid as a black man to dismantle this? I'm gonna just let y'all sit on that for a minute. But either way, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, it would be dismantled or significantly downsized under this Project 2025. Somebody type, hooray, hooray, Project 25. And this proposal, it criticizes these agencies for overreach and inefficiency. Okay? They're basically saying that these essential functions could be absorbed by other departments or managed by the state on a state level. When has the FBI ever been a friend of black folks in this country? And look, I'm all for law enforcement. Look, I believe in keeping a law-abiding society, but damn, the feds, they overdo it. You can't even negotiate with these people. Somebody type Fed time in the chat room. Y'all know about that Fed time, don't you? Can you imagine getting rid of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation? Why is this supposed to make, why is this young lady trying to make black Americans afraid? You would have to not know any of your history as black Americans and our experience in this country past last year. You understand? Donald Trump ain't the only one that has to deal with trumped up charges from the Department of Justice and the FBI. They started off using us as guinea pigs. And why are they suggesting this? So we can have an intelligent conversation, but just don't feel good. That don't seem like a problem to me. You understand? They're saying they overreach, they abuse their power. They're saying the FBI constantly oversteps their original mandate. They're saying that they engage and infringe on civil liberties and personal freedoms. We see that all the time. They make up laws just to come arrest you. The surveillance practices and how they handle domestic security issues. Some of their enforcement issues are overreaching. It's just too much. And if we get rid of some of these agencies, then it'll help curb that abuse of power and ensure greater protection for individuals. And that includes you. I'm not afraid. This does not make me afraid. Hell, I had the FBI come visit my office about a year and a half ago about something that somebody's mass reported me on the internet. I told them, if you don't get up out of my damn office with that, I'm gonna sue you and them. I'm gonna haul y'all in court. The same court that you take people in, you're going to be sitting on the stand answering my questions. Under the RICO statute, the civil RICO statute, because it's a conspiracy. Overreach. These people don't have anything to do, so they find something to do. They got to make this up. They're doing busy work. Somebody type busy work in the chat room. Why is this supposed to make me afraid? Now, we a little over halfway through this thing, and we wrapping it up, And I have yet to see anything in Project 2025 that makes me afraid. So why is everybody so scared? Huh? If you're scared, if you're not scared, say, no, I'm not scared. I'll assume that anybody who puts no, I'm not scared is not scared and everybody else is scared. If you're scared, if you're not scared, say, nope, not scared. But again, it goes back to efficiency, too much bureaucracy. They want to reallocate those functions, get rid of all those people. You want to be a cop, go back to your hometown. Give all this power to the states. Let them deal with it. They're not saying completely getting rid of it, but they are saying we're going to get rid of a bunch of this stuff. They're trying to save costs. Okay? Because right now we have these vast bureaucracies that are inefficient. You see? That's it. Now here's another one. It's gonna hit you. This one is another one. Listen, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm not afraid. We only an hour and 30 minutes in, and I'm not afraid. Okay. If y'all appreciate what I'm doing, you show your appreciation. I'm telling you, I read all 920 pages of this, and I'm not afraid. And I think I'm conveying to you all that you probably shouldn't be afraid, especially considering, again, this is a wish list.
Page 5, they call for a complete ban on corn, writing that corn should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. And anyone else.
Okay. Y'all might have missed that one. See, she started off big with the good stuff. What she didn't want to say was this.
They call for a complete ban on corn, writing.
When she say corn, you know, the corn that you eat, that's not what she's saying. Add a P on that. A complete ban on cornographic. When I say corn, I'm talking about corn on the cob, of course. Corn on the cob graphic, and you can go to jail. That's what they're saying. Now here's what you got to understand, man. First of all, this is not really something, I mean, golly, this is what Project 2025, again, it's about morals. They call this far right because you don't want corn to be everywhere for people to see. This just seems like morality to me. There's some countries right now where you can't go over there and watch corn all day. Some of these young ladies who are listening to this broadcast right now, you wish you could get your boyfriend to stop looking at that corn all day. That hot buttery corn. Right? This does not seem like something I'm afraid of. But basically what they're saying is there'll be a total ban on pornographic material with strict penalties, including imprisonment for those who produce and distribute or facilitate access to the pornographic material. And I'm saying corn, C-O-R-N, YouTube people. Y'all know YouTube is on my butt, man. YouTube is mad at me because I filed 2 lawsuits against them, and they see that $100 billion loss class action coming their way, waving their flag. I'm in the front, coming for your money, right? Speaking of which, if you, I guess we'll talk about that another time, but bottom line is that's what this is at. I don't see a problem with that. Now, what's the justification for it? Huh? Well, this particular proposal wants to implement a total ban on that sort of obscene stuff, accompanied by strict penalties, including imprisonment for its production and distribution and facilitation. Basically, they don't want your daughters to be turned into 304s in this society. There's some young women out there right now who are regretting the fact that they participated in OnlyFans, right? They were 18, 19, 20 years old. They thought they were going to get rich. They made $232 a month for 6 months straight. They didn't get rich, but they did get exposed. Somebody type exposed in the chat room. So it's shutting this avenue down for the exploitation of your little girls. Do I have to explain that there are moral and ethical grounds for this? They're basically saying that this sort of stuff is fundamentally immoral and it degrades the dignity of human beings. I mean, we don't need to explain that. And they're saying banning this type of stuff is seen as necessary to uphold societal morals and standards and to protect the individual dignity. I mean, y'all always going over there to Dubai. Y'all say how much y'all love these other countries, right? So peaceful, no crime, no degeneracy. Well, this is how you get there. Do you want your little kids out here watching corn? Huh? The other thing is, there's a lot of you fellas out there and women, you're addicted to this stuff. And it causes psychological harm. There's an addiction and a distortion as to your expectations in the bedroom and the behaviors. Got y'all in there trying all kind of stuff. I'm just saying, tell the truth, shame the devil. And they're saying the negative effects justify these strict measures. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. Shout out to everybody who contributed to the cash. I'm not afraid of this. They're also saying that there's public health concerns because this sort of material contributes to unwanted violence of the lower half of the pants. You understand? And exploitation. And they're saying by banning this, it's acting as a preventive measure, and it's a public health and safety. That's what they're saying. And it's going to prevent a lot of exploitation. And they're saying that this stuff is corrosive to society and societal. I mean, look, just you know what I'm talking about. Look, Sexy Red. Somebody type Sexy Red in the chat room. Sexy Red, Sukiana, let's bring it home. You don't even have to go full butt naked booty dancing. Look at that. It's obscene. You ain't got to go to OnlyFans. All you got to do is turn on your latest rap video. Wouldn't you like that to be banned? Now, there's already legal precedent. Some of you are saying, but what about their rights? What about their rights? The United States Supreme Court has already ruled and addressed this sort of obscenity. There was a case called Roth v. United States, and it basically said that in a 1957 case, and it said that obscenity is not protected under the First Amendment. You don't have a right to be obscene. That's why they can put you in jail for cussing and carrying on in streets. And what is offensive is according to community standards. It appeals to the prudent interest and it lacks serious value. So there's a difference between a statue of a beautiful woman with her breast exposed, created by an artist, than some chick busting it open on a video somewhere. There's other cases, Miller v. California, New York v. Ferber, and these are the ones that are protecting children. Because they're getting to the point where they're going to try to take advantage of your kids. You can end all of that with Project 2025. Who among you disagrees with that? Not only I'm not afraid, I like that. I like that. We can get rid of that under federal law. If you make it, you go to jail. Because see, it's not just about grown women doing what they do and grown men doing what they do. This is a law to protect your kids from exploitation. And also creatures and animals, because there's all kind of stuff out there on the internet. And there's no regulation. This ain't 1979, 1969 when Debbie Does Dallas. Oh no, they got all kind of wild, weird stuff going on. Type in the wrong thing on the internet. Just try, put in the make a wrong decision and type the wrong. You don't know what's gonna pop up. I'm not afraid of Project 2025 based on what I'm saying. I know this young lady wants us to be afraid of it, but grown folks with real issues and real business in this world, this is not something that I'm afraid of. Matter of fact, this doesn't bother me at all. Are any of y'all bothered by this Project 2020? Because this is about it. Let's listen to what else this little girl got to say. Listen.
That corn should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Anyone else who participates or facilitates it should be.
Anybody else who participates or affiliates Sukiana, you better stop twerking and throwing your booty up everywhere. You're gonna catch that charge. Huh?
Be registered. Page 104, reverse policies that allow transgender and
here we go. What? Y'all listening? Shout out to MC Recovery. Thank you so much. Told the BW today we need to stay out of Trump and Joe Biz. Yeah. Listen to this. Now we about to talk about the rainbow. They trying to dismantle the rainbow. Okay? Now I know we might have some rainbow affiliates up in here, but I think we're gonna agree. This is what they're mad at. Hold on, listen. We talking about Project 2025. Somebody say I'm not scared in the chat room. I'm not afraid. So far, none of this is making me afraid. I'm just telling y'all. Y'all done got you've been worried about Project 2025 for 2 or 3 months straight since they pull it out of nowhere. And here we are actually having read it, all 920 pages. And I guarantee most of y'all like, well, damn, I can't really disagree with ours. Some of that stuff most of that is all right. So what are you scared for? Why do you always, and I'm gonna get off the subject a little bit, why do y'all always let people come in and throw boogeyman at you like you're 3 or 4 years old, hiding your face under the cover? Why are you so afraid of Project 2025? Project 20, have you heard about Project 2025? Uncle D, can you talk about it? None of this is new. All they did was just put it in a pamphlet, just put it in some pages. Y'all scared? What you scared for? You want to keep the Department of Education? You don't even know what the Department of Education is. You want the FBI to stay around? You don't even know what you a whole dope dealer out in them streets. And you talk about, man, Project 2025. They're going to get rid of FBI and the Justice Department. Oh, damn. Yeah. Why would you care? I'm just saying, don't be so easily fooled, fam. That's what I'm saying. Now we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about this one here. We got another one. The ban on transgender individuals serving in the military. Okay? So we're gonna take a little break. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to give me some money for this hard work. I'm losing my voice out here. Y'all make sure y'all show your appreciation and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe now. I'll be right back.
Spurling podcast, click your mouse pad. Yeah, we out back. Hit the like, hit subscribe. Don't just hate watch, cause we outside. Let them hate watch, go and play pop. We just lay back. He don't play that. We on playback. We on playback. We go way back. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. This is still a Spurling podcast. Don't just hate watch, hit subscribe and let them know we outside. Don't hold hate, donate. Super chat, cash app. Put something in the collection plate. Church.
I want y'all to make sure y'all hit the number 1 button. And we're going to kind of get back to what we like to do over here, man. I need y'all to check in at a certain point when it's time to check in. I need to check in it to checking in to start happening again, we got to go ahead and get this algorithm pumping. Yeah, welcome back. Back with the Blizzard King, Uncle D, man. I could do a lot in 2 hours, man. Big shout out to my man, MC Recovery. Said, I told the black BW today we need to stay out of Trump and Joe Biden. Yeah, I understand that, man. You know, nothing's really going to change for you or us, per se, as a group. Graduate level info. Yeah, man, I hope that you're getting your money's worth. That y'all can clip this up. And if they have a problem with what I said, I'll send them my copy of this Project 2025. And they can tell me where any of that is supposed to scare me. I'm not afraid of this. None of this bothers me at all. And if you that worried about having a baby deletion, just don't mess around. Use a condom. You know what I'm saying? Use a condom. Use two. Try to pull out method. Use a condom. Do all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Golly. But yeah, shout out to everybody who's contributed to the super chat. Look, like I said before, I know it's boring. It's not supposed to be exciting, but it's definitely informative. You're going to be able to sleep better at night. You'll have a great conversation, and you can explain to them why, after analyzing this 920-page document, you don't really see anything in there that affects you as a black man in a negative way. That's what you're going to tell them. Now, let's get back to the subject matter. So we've gone over several. We've talked about this document, this project wants to dismantle the Department of Education, take funding away from schools that that mandate you take their kids to get shots and wear masks. It wants to outlaw baby deletions under all circumstances because they basically putting the right over this unborn child in the place that it should be, because it's a human being and you shouldn't have the right to unalive human beings, period. You can't go over there and do something to a pregnant woman and she end up losing that unborn and baby and get away with it. That's a double M. You see what I mean? So they just making it consistent. Now, some of that other stuff with the climate change, get rid of those organizations and you know, what is that? Yeah, you're going to run the outlawing porn. Why is this a problem? This doesn't make me afraid. That's actually a good thing. Dismantling the FBI and Department of Homeland Security and the Justice Department. Why is this making me afraid as a black man with our history? Not at all. Somebody typed not at all in the chat room. Matter of fact, I kind of like that. You understand? Leave it to the local law enforcement. Nevertheless, let's get to this last one. And I guess we're supposed to be angry at this, but I'm not. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are in the rainbow side of the sexual marketplace who also would like to ban trans folk from joining the military. Here's the thing. They want to prohibit these. They're not saying you can't be trans. They're not saying it. They just don't want you serving in the military. Because they're basically saying that given that gender dysphoria is incompatible with the demands of military service, and that public funds should not be used for these surgeries or related medical treatment within the military. So you got a whole grown man over here who was born a man, and at some point he decided that he wanted to transition to be a lady. So he goes through the whole process. But he still has hair down there, and they done stuffed it up into his body. So he has all kinds of issues down there. She has all kinds of issues down there. All sorts of infections. He got these prosthetic things bulging out of his chest. And you in there hitting the ground, doing push-ups, doing pull-ups. You carrying guns for 12 miles, 15 miles. And that's constantly bouncing off those synthetic things that you got protruding from your chest. And you got all kind of bodily fluids running into that orifice that that doctor created for you that's supposed to mimic a woman's area. And on top of that, up here, you have gender dysphoria. You understand? Here you are, you done went to the doctor. Hold on a minute. You wanted to come over and say hi. You came right on time. Don't run your ass away now, buddy. Everybody say hi to Buddy. Buddy's here, we over here talking about pussycats, and Buddy wanted to get involved. Hey, how y'all doing? Yeah. Let me put the mic up. I got a new mixtape coming out. It's called The Cat's Meow. I'm on. Y'all holler at me. I'm the hottest pussy in town, baby. Get at me. I got to put this little collar on Buddy to find Buddy's ass. Look at that. I had to put that little track on Buddy. Buddy, get up out of here, buddy. This ain't your conversation. Look at him squirming. My little buddy there. Anyway, so nevertheless, back to the conversation. Shout out to Buddy. Shout out to Buddy. But anyway, so yeah, you a trans person. You've transitioned from man to woman, and you got all these artificial orifices. Or you are born a biological woman, and now you got homemade man parts on you, and you gotta put this 50-pound rucksack on your back and carry this M16 up a hill, right? But you still can't do a pull-up like a man. But we calling you a man. I mean, it's just they just saying, nah, look, just if you want to do the trans, that's cool, but not in the military. Okay, it's one thing to say, hey, you know, you're a gay person and everything, but at least you still you, biologically speaking. You haven't been altered. And what you're dealing with is not something that we need in the military. We need you to run up to that hill, on top of that hill, and you can't hear you talking about, oh, I can't do it, I'm having an infection. You know. On top of that, a lot of people enter into the military, and then the military has to pay, or the American taxpayers have to pay for these surgeries that they undergo, which is expensive, and the medical treatment related to it when they get out. So that's more money. And so they justify banning these transgender individuals from serving in the military, and it's based on several arguments. Number one, most importantly, it's incompatible with the military service. Just use common sense. I don't care what these weird scientists are trying to tell you. And these young folks, I don't know what look, you're not going to be able to do it. If what you identify with does not align with your biological sex, all right. But that's incompatible with the rigorous physical and mental demands of military service. They believe, these people who authorized Project 2025, that individuals with gender dysphoria face challenges that could affect their performance and their overall effectiveness in the military unit. Where you gonna sleep? Because everybody else is either a man or a woman. So where you gonna sleep? If you're a man, you're gonna have to do what the men do. Otherwise, some of these men are gonna have to help you carry your load. If you're a woman, you're gonna have issues down there because you've undergone this surgery. They're also talking about the cohesion of the unit. I am sitting next to my battle buddy, and I need to know that my battle buddy is focused on this enemy out here and not what's going on in their parts. You rely on strong bonds and trust among members. If you think this person is off a little bit, it's like harder than, I don't know. You think you're a girl, what do you think about me? You think I'm the enemy? I mean, it's just, what else is going on up in that head? You making it more complicated. You making this battlefield, which is already stressful enough, a lot more complicated than it needs to be in the field of battle. And what about operational readiness? Look now. Don't be in there calling me names and calling me mean. Now you transphobic, Uncle D. Yeah. I'm talking about operational readiness. Where my military people at? Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps. It was men dropping out of those helicopters during Hurricane Katrina, latching people and saving them. It wasn't men who were born women. You're not ready. You over in the sick bay because your little area done got infected because the hair grew too long. And you down for 6 weeks and you the lieutenant. The time and resources required for medical treatment alone makes you potentially non-deployable for periods of time. And that impacts the overall readiness of the force. Don't be selfish. A lot of these people who've had these operations require ongoing medical treatment and hormonal therapy and more surgeries. And that affects their deployability. This is the military we're talking about. And that impacts the operational readiness of our United States military service people. You're just not ready. The other thing is, psychologically speaking, if you already have gender dysphoria, that may make you more susceptible to the psychological stressors that come with war. You getting shot at, and your little titty falling out. your little one of them did pop, one of you, the other one big, the other one small, because you got your little rucksack on too tight. Now you got silicone oozing down the side of your body. You up there, pick me up, wait for me. And you a whole man out there with some silicone, looking like Barbie. You one eye, and nothing over here. What you gonna do when you under pressure? You already got some issues. And then on top of that, the taxpayers have to pay for that, man. Look, I already know this is gonna be demonetized. Y'all need to go ahead and make sure y'all give me super chats. I'm all kind of mean names up here. He's a Republican. I'm not. I'm a registered Democrat. The only time I voted Republican was the last time. That's it. But lifelong Democrat. I'm understanding. I'm trying to be understanding, but okay, I get it. Other aspects of life, right? Y'all want to use the bathroom with the lady. Okay, you want to do jujitsu on the woman's side and swim with the women. Okay, but not the military. You're not ready for that. You got some 5-foot girl who just decided that she wanted to be a man, and she in there with the alpha males running up the side of it. She's in there with the Marine Corps. And she can't even do 3 pull-ups. And now she got a 50-pound sack on her back. We calling her Bob, and she was born Annie Lee. I'm just saying, fam. This project 2025 does not make me afraid. I've yet to read anything. And those are the main proposals. That was pretty much it. Those are the main proposals. Let's see what else this pretty little lady has to say, but that's pretty much it.
Participates or facilitates it should be registered. Page 104, reverse policies that allow transgender individuals to serve in the military. Gender dysmorphia is incompatible with the demands of the military service, and the use of public monies for transgender surgeries or to facilitate abortion for service members should be ended.
Yeah.
And there's so much more.
There is no more, baby. There ain't no more. The other, look, that's pretty much it. They're basically saying we want to shift the government towards state and local control and reduce federal oversight. And we want to adhere to some of these old school values that we had way back in 1999. The overarching theme is that the federal government involvement in these various sectors, invading on your personal freedoms, is too much. We want to get back to some traditional family values where the family determines the values, not the government. Now she's gonna talk about how, and they're creating a personal conservative database. Well, let me in that database. I want to get in that database.
The possibility of ending birthright citizenship, banning African American and gender studies.
Birthright citizenship, African American. Now that ain't in there. But again, if you want to teach African American studies under this project, you can do that in the school where your kids attend. And as far as birthright citizenship, in other words, people running up here to our country from all these other countries, pregnant or getting pregnant here, and then having an anchor baby. Somebody type anchor baby in the chat room. Most countries don't have that. You take your butt somewhere and you have a baby over there, you and that baby gotta go. Just because you born here don't mean you're a citizen here. That's not even something that's in the Constitution. They read that into the Constitution. Somebody said, look, Dennis is Dominican though. My name is Dennis Damon Spurling. What part of that name is Dominican? I don't even understand why y'all just make up all these lies because you don't like what I say. You don't have to like what I say. You don't even have to like me, but the truth is the truth. But why make up lies? What Dominican do you know named Dennis Damon Spurling? I always tell people Damon is my ghetto name. It can travel long distances. Damon, bring your black ass back in the house. Grandma said come home. I'm just saying. It's Damon with two N's, not Damon, just so you know. Nevertheless, off of that, somebody give me some money for that hater. The more you hate, the more they like me. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, man. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. I need 25 people to get 70,000. Nevertheless, the other thing they're basically saying is this. The personnel, they're gonna create this database or whatever. Let's listen to her. She's a lot prettier than I am. Let's listen to her. Go ahead, baby. Talk to her.
Think a Playbook for Handmaid's Tale, essentially turning the U.S. into Gilead.
You a little too long-winded. You ain't got your law
Career
degree.
positions. These people have earned them through going to school, getting work experience. They're either considered experts or they could be a part of the support staff. These people are hired because they know their stuff. Think an engineer at NASA or a scientist.
All right, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and let her go. So basically, she's saying, and another thing they're doing is they are gonna reclassify federal workers under Schedule F to replace them with people who come in with the administration. Somebody type, shout out to TIQS for the vaporized troll. Anger baby. Yeah, man. Somebody give me some, hey, look, somebody type in the chat room, hate watcher. Do it for the hate watchers. Let's have a fundraiser for the hate watchers. You understand what I'm saying? All you hate why you won't subscribe, you don't contribute, just come over here to get angry. You probably learn more on this page trying to be angry at me than you would in them other places where people talk and say the things that make you feel good. See, I'm your Uncle D. I don't care how you feel. I'm gonna tell you the truth. All the time. That's the one thing I have consistency. Somebody type hate watcher in the chat room. I'm gonna always tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. I've been telling you lovely ladies that for the past 4 years, they are going to start targeting you. They're going to start treating you like they treat black men. And lo and behold, you see what just happened up in Illinois. That poor young girl got shot in the face by that sheriff. And all she did was have a pot of water. They treating you lovely ladies just like they treat black men. And there is no public outcry because you've been cutting up and acting a fool on the internet. So you keep on hate watching me. You keep on hate watching me and I'm going to keep on being right. But all this made up stuff y'all trying to do, I'm a black man in America, born and raised in South Central LA to a family from Mississippi, Tutwiler, Mississippi. I can trace my roots back all the way to Mississippi. I got family up in Kansas to help bring black folk out of slavery in the South. Stop trying to be mad at me so you want to disavow what I'm saying by saying I'm one of the others. I'm from here. My people from here. Matter of fact, all I know is here. And for some of you who say, oh, well, your dad, your biological dad is from somewhere, I just met him. Some of y'all don't even know who y'all real biological daddies is right now. The only family I know is from MISS, ISS, humpback, Tutwiler, Clarksdale. So cut it out. Nevertheless, you know, it's not going to change this truth. Now, back to what I was saying. They creating a conservative database where they're going to get people who are vested in this. They're going to reclassify federal workers under Schedule F to replace them with people who are loyal. So when, you know, we get you up out of here. And the way in which they're going to do that is basically, let's say we get a president. Let's say DJ Trump, Donald Trump gets in office. Then all of these jobs in the swamp, somebody type drain the swamp. Since we can't drain the swamp, we gonna put our own alligators and lizards up in there. Since we can't eliminate these positions, we're gonna reclassify these positions and they're gonna be at-will employees. Somebody type at-will in the chat room. So your job, you know them good government jobs that you can't get fired from? Yeah, them good government jobs, that's a wrap. You're gonna be an at-will employee, which means if I go, you go. You see what I mean? So instead of trying to drain the swamp, we're gonna put some people in there who gonna fulfill these policies. And if we talking about this Project 2025, none of this offends me. I am not afraid of anything that I've heard. And you can be mad, but that's what it's gonna do. See, these people, when they become Schedule F employees, they're not going to have those same services, or should I say civil service protections. They're not going to be able to appeal their terminations forever to some merit system. You're going to get removed. You're going to lose your job. You see what I mean? That's what they're going to do. And so that's going to, and that's a good thing, actually, because there's a lot of people in the federal governments everywhere that need to be gone. I wish we could get rid of some of these school teachers that we have. We definitely need to get rid of some of these cops that's out here, but they have all these protections. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be able to get rid of them. And that's pretty much it, fam. I mean, you know, the object of this whole Project 2025, again, is just speaking generally, is they want to restore to the family these core values of American life. They want to protect children. They want to dismantle this administrative state and return to self-governance. I'm not afraid. They basically want to defend the national sovereignty of the borders. You can't come over here and drop a baby off and just become a citizen and stay for 20 years anymore. And they want to secure your rights under the Constitution. Why am I supposed to be afraid of it? Are any of you all afraid? I'm not afraid of this. This does not make me afraid. I'm just saying, I'm not. I know that Project 2025 is the new boogeyman, but it doesn't make me afraid. So I'm gonna open up the chat room. Okay. And I have preached a sermon tonight. Have I not? I have preached a sermon tonight. Praise God. And you all know that I have preached a sermon tonight, don't you? So it's time for you to pay me for my work that I've done. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this little song play, one that I find most appropriate for this time. It's called Hate Watchers. Now, the link is in the chat room. We'll continue the conversation when I come back. But you guys make sure you show me some love. Show me some appreciation. If you learn, let me say it like this. Let me get down with the get down. If you learn something in the past 2 hours and 10 minutes that you didn't otherwise know, then you did in fact partake in the bread that was being offered today. You learned something. I'm not asking you to do anything for free, but if you learned something, if something that I said made you say, wow, or didn't know that, then go ahead and pay me for my time. As Kevin Samuel says, quality, you should pay for quality. And you're not going to get this anywhere. Either way, we'll be right back. The reason the bad guy is the bad guy is because he says no when people try to shame him, when they try to invoke morality. No, I'm not going to lower my standards. No, I'm not going to clean up this mess that is the black community. No, I don't have time to spend my life trying to rehabilitate a woman who's been in the streets. Why? Because she's not worth it. No, I'm not going to do it because my purpose on this earth is not to rehabilitate a woman. My purpose on this earth is to figure out what the Most High wants me to do and begin to do that. And then when a helpmate comes along, I will accept her help, a helpmate, not a patient. The Most High said he'll send you what? A helpmate, not a patient. It's not your job to psychoanalyze these broads and get them healed up and help raise their bastard kids. It will be a drain on your resources and prevent you from doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's not your job.
Back in America, she run her mouth. A lot of you niggas are scared of KK Keisha. Call the police up, never told you about that threesome. Thinking she decent. Went in the house, room started smelling like feces. Bad bitch, but she nasty, bitch you a heathen. You don't need marriage, just lease it. Travel for keepers, we don't do creepers. We don't do no shaniquas, you gotta keep up. Bitches are bad, and y'all ain't competing. BBLs, American hoes be cheating. Up in Thailand we be cheaping. Out in Brazil get that treatment. No, you hate it, that's why you be speaking. We travel the first of the weekend, that's the weekend why we spend. Dominican chicks with a body like Cardi, your face like a Mario beefing. She keep it high up, here we stuck. She hit that high note, baby we up. We travel the first of the weekend, at the weekend why we spend. Dominican chicks with a body like Cardi, your face like a Mario beefing. She keep it high up, here we stuck. She hit that high note, baby we up. I'm leaving out tonight, you can keep that ho, no. Talking like we ain't got dough, broke hoes. Baby daddy drama trash, oh no. You fucking with a passport, bro, ho. 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 You fucking with a passport.
Is there traveling overseas? Shout out to all the passport bros. Somebody type passport bros in the chat room. All right. Welcome back. I'm gonna have to get that PG version of that song. But anyway, I've opened up the chat room. If you all want to come in, you're welcome to come in. I'm going to take the opportunity to read some of these comments. Thank you so much. We got 20 super chats up in here. My man SYSBM Steven, big shout out to you. Save yourself, black man. Thank you for the time. He said for your time. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. LJ, thank you for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Griff, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And we got a hard one to read. XX, the one and only LYXX. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Welcome to the membership. Let's see who else we got up in. Uriah Victorious, putting a little something in the pot. Keep it cooking, baby. I'm over here cooking, man. I mean, I thought I was going to see Boogeyman in this thing, but it's just this is a number one, it's a wish list. So it's not necessary that all this is a goal. Okay, it's not necessarily that all these things will be accomplished, but nevertheless, it pushes back against the extreme left-wing agenda that's been foisted upon us over the past 20 or 30 years. Chuck Watts said, thanks for the breakdown. Yeah, no problem, man. Don't be afraid of this, man. I appreciate y'all. And for TIQS, for the vaporized troll, I mean Anchor Baby. Thank you so much, fam. I appreciate that. Who else we got up here? Seminole 2014 ain't much cause I'm saving up for a trip. But you got us putting our thinking caps on, and I can't thank you enough, Uncle D. Keep up the good work. I will, man. I will keep up the good work, man. I'm just so sick and tired of these political pundits and whatnot trying to make you afraid. Anyway, brothers, welcome to the broadcast. Slim, what's happening? Always good to see you up in here, man. What are your thoughts on Project 2025? Are you afraid?
I'm not afraid in the slightest, Uncle D. It's good to see you, man. I haven't been on with you in a while, but I've been going to work against these folks on the internet that's been trying to drum up all of this fear mongering and all this race baiting. And I just say the left is always rolling this out every 4 years. I'm like, give us something to vote for. Stop telling us about this boogeyman under the bed that we got to be afraid of every 4 years. I'm like, the man's been your president already. Did the KKK rule over us? They didn't. So what are you so scared of?
Yeah. Well, they're not afraid. They're just trying to make you afraid. But to me, it seems like it's about power. They want to keep those government jobs. There's a lot of people in Washington, D.C. who are going to take a personal loss if a lot of these bureaucratic institutions are done away with. There's a lot of money. Use a lot of money in scaring the public. They're willing to fund the FBI and the judicial branch. I mean, we have two different branches of we got the state courts and federal courts everywhere. We got federal cops and state cops. We got county cops. How many cops do we need? At some point, the judicial system, and there was a legal scholar that said, when you create this animal, you got to feed it. So they got to constantly be looking for crime because they got to feed this animal called the judicial system. On the federal level, state level, everybody's got to keep their jails open. See, the only people that would be against this would be those corporations who benefit from these privatized prisons. So this is the other stuff I got in it. It makes no sense, especially when you start digging down into this. Why would you be, would the Democrats have a problem with defunding the FBI when the FBI are cops? I mean, why would they have? I mean, on what you saying one thing on one hand, another on another. Speaking out of both sides of your mouth. But what else would you like to add, brother?
I would say the only thing with the FBI is, though, I think some people are a little bit concerned that if police are always only investigating themselves, who would be that other authority to like really go and investigate them? I would say that'd probably be the only thing that I would think about with the FBI portion. But
that could be outsourced to some private institutions to do that. And I think they would do a better job than that. And we wouldn't have to keep them around year in and year out and them soaking up hundreds of millions of dollars in our budget just in case there is a police station somewhere down in Asswater, Alabama that needs to be investigated for 18 months. I think there's a better use of our resources. And so when you start thinking about, like they said, let's let the market dictate the value of that. Basically, we'll get them as we need them. You see what I mean? So, man, I'm not afraid. I'm not going to beleaguer this point. I think I've done enough for tonight. I think I've done enough. What do you think? You think did I get my point across out here in these streets?
I think you got your point across out in the streets, Uncle D. I think that these states need to compete for better educational opportunities for their own citizens. I mean, I've lived in Florida and I've seen how abysmal their education system can be down there. And if we can find better ways in the private enterprise market to be able to do things for ourselves, I think that's probably the way to go. Because I've worked with international agencies and I've seen how they waste money and just throw $26,000 for a toilet. I've seen stuff like this before. That's dumping money and taxing us to death, like over it. So
Yeah, brother, I appreciate that. So basically, so we can recap what Project 2025 is saying. They want a complete ban on baby deletions. They want to eliminate the Department of Education. They want to remove mandates for vaccines and masks from schools. Otherwise, they'll lose their federal funding. They want to eliminate Head Start. They want to abolish these organizations, NOAA and the National Weather Service. I told you why. They want to dismantle the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. They want to ban this salacious sexual stuff that they have everywhere and punish people who produce it, okay, and distribute it. And they want to ban on trans people in the military, okay? So, you know, my man, always good to have you in here, Glow. What are your thoughts on this, brother?
I think
Did
that
you learn
project
something today? Did you learn something? That's what I want to know.
Of course, always when I tap in, Uncle D, you always add some type of nuance to a pre-existing thought, or you birth a new thought in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So, as
All
it pertains to project, all praise to the Most High. As it pertains to Project 2025, I mean, I think that you've accurately described it. I think that the way that they're trying to use Project 2025 is a fear-mongering tool. I think that Project 2025 definitely targets a lot of the far left ideologies that people have been trying to eradicate, I would say, for at least like the last 20 years, because it really didn't settle into the 80s and 90s. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, and let me touch on the military aspect on that as well. Man, like when I was coming out of the military, you know, or when I was coming into the military, I started to find out that people were getting sex changes. And these sex changes were being paid for by the military under the guise of a mental health thing. You know, seeing drill sergeants, these are drill sergeants. Now, mind you, these are supposed to be the models of new soldiers, new soldiers. I'm seeing male drill sergeants with the female cadet hats, man. I was torn up from that. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing female drill sergeants with the male cadet drill sergeant hat, bro. Like it's not. I don't think that people have really understood how corrosive this leftist ideology has been to our nation, not only to Black people, even though that Black people are the most affected by it, not only just Black men and women, but I mean, Black men and women have been the most affected by it, in my opinion. Yeah. But it affects everybody. So I think that this proposal, because that's what it is like you said, it's really a wish list, and therefore you know, it's a wish list that's being used as a proposal. You know, I think that this proposal is headed in the right direction. I truly do think that.
I need and let me just take a little side note real quick. I need 30 subscribers to get to 70,000. So we got 30 volunteers in here to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I certainly would appreciate that. Shout out to Deacon Salty Balls. Well, all my wrench mob at, all my guys in the wrench mob, man. Y'all make sure everybody with a wrench, I want you to type subscribe. Let's go ahead and get that going. I think it's important. I want to try to get to 70,000. It's a nice number to have. 70,000 for my middle-aged Black man in Texas. I am not exciting. Okay, and the fact that I got 70,000 people, that's pretty cool. And especially I don't have any tricks and none of that fancy stuff that other people have. We just talking out here. Somebody type, we just talking. My man Slim, talk to me, man. What are we gonna do now to convince everybody that they don't need to be afraid out here in these social media streets? How do we convince them now that you have these talking points, right? And I'm gonna put this up. This is the key proposals, and this should a word should trigger a sentence should trigger a paragraph. And so if I put these mandates in here, this is what they're mandating. We talked about it. How do we spread the word, so to speak? to our people. Go ahead, brother. You
I
got it.
think you're doing a good job right now, just giving us just like the bricks and bats that we need to go and really have these conversations online. And I've been doing it on huge platforms, and just really just trying to stick to it and say, hey, look, man, we've got to, as Black people, we've got to have a platform of things that we want, and we got to speak to that. We got to stop voting out of fear of everybody else, because I haven't heard anything substantive in terms of policy yet that they want to offer us as people. They've only been talking about how poor the other side is. And the fact that Trump has already come out and said that he's not really familiar with this platform that they have, and some of the stuff that he thinks in there, he doesn't even think that he wants himself. I'm just like, you guys are just grasping for straws at this point. Like, when did all this Donald Trump hate start? Was it back when he was giving money to Jesse Jackson in 84 and 88 when he was running for president? Was when he was letting older ladies who couldn't afford rent stay in his hotels rent free? Right. When was it that you started all this hate? Like, they act like this man is actually Hitler, and he's not. Like, you've had him for president before. What did he do that significantly reduced your standard of living as Black people? They could never answer the question for me.
Brother, I'm just not afraid. And, you know, I did a little backyard broadcast today, and it's like, maybe I'm not afraid because I'm Generation X and we didn't really think we were going to make it this far. And, you know, and I'm like, I'm living on borrowed time anyway. Why not push it? I mean, you know, I'm just, I don't know. And sometimes I have to talk to other people to make sure I'm not the problem. But I'm just not afraid of this. Like banning baby deletions, getting rid of the Department of Education, not making kids get shots, getting rid of the Head Start program because they paying too much. You get somebody else to do it. This environmental stuff, so gas can be cheaper. Giving the middle finger to the FBI. I mean, come on now. You see what I'm saying? I don't really, and the other stuff with the porn and the transgender stuff, you know, like, this doesn't make, why is this supposed to make me as a Black man or a member of the Black, why am I even involved in that? You know, especially the last, that don't make me afraid. Glow, what else you got to say, brother?
Yeah, as far as pushing back on this pretty much fear-mongering, I think that, you know, you providing a platform for people like Slim Chady to speak, you know, for me to speak, and like, as you're educating us, I think that you providing the space to educate us, and then for us to actually go out and divulge this information amongst people like us, you know, Black men like us. I think that that's going to continue to be an effective method. I think that we also need to employ our resources when in our local communities, because even though that we're trying to affect things federally, you're more likely to affect change locally, as you said. So, you know, just to sum up my points, I think that, you know, Black men like you offering these platforms for, you know, not only Black men to speak, but to also educate. And I know that it's not just for Black men, it's for everybody in the Black community, but specifically Black men. I think that, you know, Black men like you offering spaces for people like us to speak and for you to inform us are going to continue to be a prevailing and winning factor in combating against misinformation and fear mongering done by those who want to keep us misinformed.
Well, brother, you summed it up. That's why I'm here. But I was hoping for more on this Project 2020. I thought I was gonna see some, like, oh my God, they're gonna start having seances in the White House. Like, ooh, there's nothing in here that makes me afraid. You know, there's nothing in here that in any way makes me fear for, you know, my life or my children or anything. Shout out to my man Black Sigma, Sigma Black Ronin, man. Big up to you. And shout out to Lance Jackson. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Lance. I appreciate that. I'm not afraid, my Haitian brother. Why are they trying to make me afraid of these policies that this Project 2025 wants to implement? Tell me why. And why are so many Black people afraid? That's the other thing I want to know. Go ahead. The floor is yours, brother.
They've been doing this tactic has been going on since the 50s, 60s. It's just a tactic that we always use. My mentor, Mr. Chamberlain, he used to talk about psyops with me and how, use words like, they're going to put you back in chains, things like that, to get Black people to do something. But this new generation, I have a lot more hope for. They see right through it. Some of the this new generation, your generation, definitely, when you hit a certain age, I'm seeing Gen Xers not give a F.
No,
not giving an F about this. So it's like, and also, I'm 42. So I'm a Zennial. Like, I'm the little brother of Gen Xers. I'm like, I was the one hanging by their pants leg when I was 5 years old. So
yeah.
I'm right there with you. I'm like, nah, you guys are corny. You guys are corny and you soft. To me, the backlash is you guys look soft. You guys look soft crying about this, screaming about this, trying to make this a thing. You guys look soft to us, and that's what made me latch on more to Donald Trump, because he's tough. He's a tough. We need everything going on in the Indo-Pacific. You know what I'm saying? Across the world, Ukraine. We need a tough guy in the White House. We need someone who's tough, especially with all the stuff going on across the country. We don't need this. We don't need this marshmallow shit going on. Nah, man. They can shove that up their asses, man. I'm not scared of nothing.
Let's watch the language. I don't want to get demonetized. These people don't pay me no super chats, man. I ain't out here making that big super chat money. But I do want because they'll make it. What do they say? They'll put a parental restriction on it or something like that. But anyway, I don't need to talk about this anymore. This is boring. This feels too much like law school, and y'all not paying me enough to be your law school professor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little quick break. And no, we ain't gonna take no break. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna put y'all over here in this corner, and I'm gonna close out. Praise God, hallelujah. Can we get a hallelujah?
Praise God. Hallelujah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, nothing in here scares me as related to Project 2025. I'm not afraid of these policies. They seem to be a wish list or a starting point in a negotiation. This is about a return to traditional values and a vision for the future that some believe, and I do believe, will strengthen our nation. And understanding the potential impacts of these proposals is crucial. It's important to recognize that these ideas are meant to spark debate and discussion. And while you may find controversial, that's only because you weren't born in 1970, where this was the norm, because they are grounded in a perspective that values a certain set of principles and traditions, which are based on what we've had all the way up until maybe the past 20 years in this country. And whether it's emphasis on personal freedoms, the push for local control over education, or the desire to reduce federal oversight, these proposals reflect a vision for how we believe society should function based on what we had before. We got to engage in these ideas thoughtfully and critically. We need to take a look at both what works and what doesn't work. And what we know is that what doesn't work has not been working for the past 20 or 30 years, and it's time to make changes. And it's through engagement that we refine our policies and our approaches in governance. And we ensure the best interest of everybody. And the best interest of everybody does not mean that everybody likes it. That's something you learn being a parent. So consider these proposals without fear. And it's essential to remember that this is a negotiation, it's a compromise, and that's the integral part of the political process. And these policies, they more likely than not are going to evolve over time after people look at them and debate and discuss them and incorporate feedback and address the concerns. And this is how the process works. It's how we achieve balance and effective governance. And, so moving forward, let's keep an open mind. Let's be respectful in our tone. Let's be willing to listen to different viewpoints and work together. and find common ground. And whether you agree or disagree with the specifics of Project 2025, the overarching goal is to build a stronger and more cohesive society. So let's continue having this conversation. And let's do it with understanding. Okay? And while you may differ, your perspective may differ, we share the common desire. I hope we share the common desire, and that's to create a better nation. And I appreciate all you fellas participating in this conversation. This has been, about as exciting as I can make it. You see them for a 920-page doc. I spent several weeks looking this thing over. And I'm appreciative that we have over 400 people came in to talk about this. And that's just pretty awesome to me. But big shout out to Slim. Thank you so much, Glow. And thank you so much, Sigma Black Ronin. You guys are always great. They're mainstays on. This is a place where Black men can speak and speak openly. And the thing is about the conversation, when they see us talking about this, these complicated subjects, and we're having intelligent conversations and we're speaking so eloquently and thoughtfully, they can't deny us. They can no longer relegate us to the chicken and watermelon circuit and say that Black men aren't sophisticated enough to have these conversations. They have to listen to us. So we no longer need these surrogates on TV, these half-baked, half-cocked men who cry on TV every day. Biden. We don't need those guys. You got real Black men out here with real thoughts and real minds, brilliant Black men who can speak for themselves. And for the most part, that's what we do on this page. We speak for ourselves. So as far as Project 2025, I guess my question is, Slim, Glow, Sigma, why is everybody so scared? I'm not. Other than that, it's Uncle D. I'm out.
In the Spurling Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.